underrated niche fragrances that you must try. Hi everyone, I'm Loewe and this is my channel Scented Moments where we discuss everything about perfumes. So in this video I want to talk about 10 fragrances that are wonderful for spring. Barely anyone talks about them, and I don't know exactly when I will upload this video, but by the time I'm uploading this video I'm still in Portugal, in Lisbon. And I basically want really to highlight some spring fragrances that I will not be able to take with me yet to Vilnius, Lithuania. So they really deserve some highlight and to be talked about. And in the end, they are extremely underrated. In no specific order, let's get started. Starting first from the house of Comporta Perfume, a Portuguese niche brand. This one is Ocaso. Created by Stephane, she also created other fragrances for this brand, for example Olhar Trancoso, which is a wonderful tropical coconutty fragrance. She created other fragrances for the brands like MDCI Parfum Invasion Barbare, my favorite fougere fragrance, but Ocaso it's completely different from the ones that I just talked about. Ocaso is all about tuberose and green nuances like galbanum, and it has this very damp, thick, like galbanum, green, grassy nuances with tuberose, but you also have a bit of ylang-ylang in here as well, a bit of lily of the valley in here. So in the end it's a very green floral fragrance and it's just to die for. Love this one. This is such a high quality fragrance. My god, this is really good. If you love Carner flower, if you love Synthetic Jungle, both from Frédéric Malle, you need to try this one. I would say that actually this is like a mix of Chanel No. 19, Dieu de Parfum, Carner flower and Synthetic Jungle, and then you have Ocaso. Three masterpiece of fragrances, and this one is up there as well. So good. Very rich, dense fragrance, natural smelling tuberose. I mean, in the end this is a very natural smelling fragrance. Overall screams springtime. Highly advise you to try this one, Ocaso by Comporta Perfumes. The next two fragrances, they are both from the same brand, Profumum Roma, but I will talk about them individually because they are still very different from each other. So this one is Ichnusa, and you can see already the massive dent in here. Another fragrance that I already reviewed. So Ichnusa is one of my favorite fig fragrances, but this is more about the fig leaf than the fig fruit, although you can detect some fig fruit nuances, but this is more about the green fig leaf with a sea breeze accord in here. Oh, it's so good. It's also creamy. It has a creaminess in here, like a vanilla creaminess, but it's really in the dry down more. What's really more intense in here and more pronounced is really this green fig leaf with this sea breeze, and it's just to die for. It's really the most natural smelling fig leaf accord that I ever smelled. And it's so damn good. This for me, it's wonderful for spring and also summer, to be honest. Great performance. And again, you still have the fig fruit, and maybe it's where it comes more of the creaminess than the vanilla, because you have this figgy, lactonic quality, like you can smell in Philosophe, for example, from Diptyque. But this one is superior, I would say. Although I love Philosophe, I have the Eau de Parfum concentration, but I do think that this one is superior in terms of everything, really. In terms of how it smells, how natural it comes across, performance-wise as well. So yeah, highly advise for you to try this one. It's Ichnusa by Profumum Roma, and of course performance-wise, I don't need to say more how well this performs. And the next fragrance from the same brand, Profumum Roma, it's Orangea, which I already talked about. And I mean, if we are talking about spring, we need to talk about Orangea, which is the best orange blossom fragrance out there, in my view, of course. It's just the most natural smelling, realistic orange blossom. You also get the orange fruit in here with a bit of petit grain, a bit musky, but it's It's like everything is blooming, literally. You are under an orange blossom tree and literally everything around you is blooming, and it's sunny, it's green. You really need to experience this for yourself. Please do try this one and you will understand what I'm trying to say here. I mean, it's just fantastic experience. Wonderful for spring. It's Orangea, performance-wise, again, incredible. Highly advise you to try this one also. The next fragrance, this one is also very underrated. I mean, that's why it's in this list and in this video. From the house of Stephane Humbert Lucas. And actually, I already talked about this one. I already featured this one in one of my spring lists a few years ago. And this one is Panthea Iris. If you love iris, you need to try this one. This is a very thick, buttery, full-on iris with a lot of powdery aspects, with violet and jasmine. You have a bit of a white tea accord in here as well. Maybe that's what gives like the powderiness overall with the jasmine and the violet. I mean, there's something in here that really creates like a powdery aspect. Maybe it's the iris itself. I mean, who knows, but definitely this comes across as like a bright, floral, powdery, buttery iris with white musk. It's so magical. It's really so elegant, so sophisticated. And iris just works for the springtime. And this one also has a leathery nuance, I would say, as well in the base. But yes, this in the end, it's a great iris fragrance. The iris here is definitely the main note in here. So I highly advise for you to try this one. Great performance. This is another parfum concentration, but performance-wise is really good. Panthea Iris by Stephane Humbert Lucas. Please check this one out, especially if you love iris fragrances. And talking about iris, I mean, we need to talk about this one specifically from the house of Chanel, and it is number 19, but this is the Poudre version. And I adore this one. I think this one, I believe that the Poudre, number 19 Poudre, is the one that it's a bit forgotten. You have the Eau de Parfum, you have the Eau de Toilette, and then you have the Poudre. And I have the three of them. I just would love to have the Parfum as well, which I don't know if it's still available or not, but this one is all about the iris. So the previous two, especially the Eau de Parfum being my favorite. I mean, the Eau de Parfum is all about this galbanum, very heavy galbanum, very green and grassy, and with a bouquet of flowers, including iris. This one is, the iris is the main note and everything else is in the background. So you still have the green nuances, you have the galbanum, you have the floral bouquet, but in the end, the main note and what really stands out is this buttery, full-on iris, intense iris, and it's so good. I love it. Love this one. I mean, if you love number 19 DNA, I think you will adore this one. But again, you need to appreciate iris, because in the end, the iris is the main character in here. Again, perfect for spring. I do believe it's a bit more slept on, especially when comparing with the predecessors of the Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Toilette. But still one that I highly recommend you to try. And again, even though this is marketed for a woman, all fragrances are unisex. So if you're a man, if you love iris, you need to try it. This one, number 19, Poudre. And the next fragrance, another iris, but actually it's the last iris of this list. I mean, I love iris in the end, and I think again iris works wonderfully during the springtime. This one, very underrated. I mean, it was talked about when it was released, but then I mean its hype kind of died down, like everything. And this one is from the house of Carner, Barcelona. It's been a while since I talked about this brand. Actually, it's a brand that I really have a close connection to, because also reflects a bit of my early days of my fragrance hobby, my fragrance journey. So yes, I really have a close connection to this brand because of that. And overall, they have quite a few nice high quality scents, and they're really reasonably priced in my view. This one is D600. D600, and this one, it has some similarities. Now, not full on the same, but You can see the inspiration with Dior Homme, none other than Dior Homme original Eau de Toilette. And so if you are into Dior Homme, the original again, I think you will love this one. Now this one doesn't have the cacao. This one is more creamy. I would say it's definitely a more creamy, buttery iris with tons of violets. You have some vetiver, some cedar in here as well, a bit more spicy in the opening, and in the end, the iris, while being prominent, oh, but it's so soft though. It's buttery, but it's soft. This one feels like an iris hand cream. It's the best way to describe this one. Oh man, it's so good. It's really good, so effortless, so elegant, and it's really high quality, I would say. I really like this one. And again, D600 was a fragrance that was quite hyped. I mean, I will not say hyped, but maybe it was well praised back in the day. I think people really were gravitating towards this one. Maybe even more here and there, more than Dior Homme. But again, many moons ago. But this is still available, still smells great. I mean, my batch, I mean, I would say it's from 2019. So already has a few years. But I still advise it for you to try this one if you're into iris fragrances, especially considering that it's Dior Homme, the original. It's kind of hard to get, though still available, but it's hard to find in your local perfume stores. At least it is in my experience. So I would advise to try this one. Again, not the same, but you will get you will get the comparison. And it's different enough to be worth owning, even if you already own the Dior Homme or Dior Homme original. D600 by Carner, Barcelona. And the next fragrance from the house of Xerjoff. This one is so underrated. I don't even know if this is still available. I don't know if Xerjoff didn't discontinue this one. Maybe not. Maybe it's still available. But it's so underrated, really. I don't remember last time I heard a reviewer talking about this one, or really anyone. This one is Oesel, and this is a wonderful floral bouquet. This is all about jasmine, all about lily of the valley, a hint of rose, orange blossom, petit crème. You have also lemon on top, and you also have vanilla in the base. And I already have this bottle for a few years, so that's why it has this color, this ambery color. It's because of the vanilla. But this is just magical. A lot of people, I remember that back in the day, some people talked about this one and they compared it with Jean Paul Gaultier Fleur du Mal, which is long discontinued. It's in that white torso bottle, which is long discontinued, but it has its cult follow. Now, I never tried that one, unfortunately, but there are some people who compare this to that fragrance, so I can't really attest it, but what I can say is that this is a really wonderful scent. Blossom, orange blossom, the petit crème with the lemon really creates this very energetic and spring-like scent, with the jasmine, a bit of indolic nuances with rose. It has depth, and I would say that this is one of the Xerjoff fragrances that really comes across as a very high quality, like floral bouquet overall, with the vanilla. And you also have, I do believe this also has a bit of a tobacco in the dry down. Wonderful scent, and it's perfect for spring, incredibly underrated. It's Oesel by Xerjoff. The next fragrance from the house of Guerlain, and this one is Guerlain Homme EDP, and this is the original bottle. So I have this fragrance for so many years now. Again, I'm in this hobby since what, 2016. 2016, it's when I really started to explore and collect, if we can say if it's collecting. But it's when it started, 2016. Before that, I always had my fragrance collection of 4 to 5 perfumes, always. But since 2016, it's when I really started to dig deep into this hobby, and yeah, the rest is history really. But Guerlain Homme, so this is the original bottle. This is the 50 ml. It originally came out in 50 ml and 80 ml. Nowadays, I think this is still available, I believe, and if it is, it's in the now that L'Homme bottle. Before that, this was repackaged to that Listerine bottle, and then Guerlain repacked again, and now it comes in that L'Homme style of bottle. Scent-wise, not as intense. Definitely reformulated. It's not as intense as this version specifically. I mean, that's usually the case, but still smells great. So this one is all about mint. It has that mojito quality, although I would say that the Loewe, which I have, does have a more enhanced mojito vibe into it. But this one also has, but the mint, it's more intense, more rich, I dare to say. And overall, this is an aromatic, green, boozy fragrance. Oh, it's really good. And it still smells amazing. Yeah, and it's wonderful for spring and summer, I would say. The performance of this one is great on my skin, but I can't really say in terms what's the performance of the new version. But smell-wise, definitely not as intense, not as rich as the Eau de Parfum, as this version, as the OG. But nonetheless, highly advise for you to try the Guerlain Homme. I think this line is quite forgotten, I would say, because you had the Eau de Toilette, you had this one, and you had the Loewe. I don't know if the Loewe is still around. Let me know in the comments down below. And even if this one is still around as well, please do confirm. Actually, I didn't do my due diligence about the availability of Guerlain Homme, but I do think that this is a bit of a forgotten line. It had its hype again back in the day, like 2016, 2017. A lot of people were talking about this one, more specifically the Loewe, but then that hype kind of died down, and I barely hear anyone talking about this one to this day. So that's why I'm featuring here, and I'm advising you to try if it's still around. A great, very good mint fragrance, Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum. Now the next fragrance, this is from the house of Loewe, and this is a tester, although this is a massive bottle. This is a 150 ml, but unfortunately as a tester I don't have the cap. I would love to have the cap, but well, it is what it is. This one is Loewe pour Homme Eau de Toilette, and this is a more of an old school style of fragrance. Tons of lavender, lemon, spices, a bit piney as well, a bit mossy. So this comes across as a more mature, more gentlemanly type of scent. Definitely not for everyone. Now this is the previous bottle style. Nowadays it comes in that sleek rectangular bottle with a wooden cap. I think it has a wooden cap. I don't know if they reformulated the fragrance. Maybe they kind of modernized it. Maybe, but I can't really attest. I highly advise for you to try the new version of the Loewe pour Homme. Loewe fragrances are high quality ones, very unique from the most part, and very underrated as well. That's why I'm featuring this one here. But again, this one, at least in this version specifically, is a bit more mature. Might not be for everyone, but still I think it works wonderfully during the springtime. A great lemon scent nonetheless. It's Loewe pour Homme Eau de Toilette. And last but certainly not least, from the house of Lalique, a cheapy brand only in online discounters. Retail, it's very expensive. But online discounters, you can find Lalique fragrances really for 30 euros or less sometimes. And so it's the best bang for your buck brand in online discounters, hands down. This one, I believe that it's one of their most underrated fragrances. Really full. It's in the shadow of Encre Noire, which is like the most popular range of Lalique, and this one works wonderfully for the spring. It's Hommage à l'Homme, the Eau de Toilette. I also have the Voyage, which is in the dark blue bottle. This one though is all about violets and violet leaves. So if you are into violets, highly advise you to try this one. very elegant, very sophisticated. It also has a bit of an ambery quality in the dry down. This is also listing oud as an official note. Now, I don't really get oud from here, but it definitely has depth in the dry down. Definitely it's ambery and woodsy in the dry down, with being very spicy and aromatic, mineral. It has this mineral quality of the violet, and it's wonderful, really. And I also dare to say that it has a leathery quality in here. Love it. Love Hommage à l'Homme. High quality scent right here, great performance, works wonderfully for the spring days, and it's really very affordable in the online discounters, so highly advise for you to try this one if you have yet to. So guys, this is the list. Let me know in the comments down below if you find value in this video. If you did, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, check out all the other fragrance content that I have available. Let me know also in the comments down below what other underrated spring fragrances should I try, and see you in the next one. Take care guys, ciao.